Hello and welcome back to AutoCAD Mechanical 2022 class. We are going to continue from where we left off, that is using the line command. So in this video, we are going to look at how to use the line command and how our status bar commands affect whatever we do in AutoCAD Mechanical 2022. So for example, if I select the line command again, like I told you, there are two ways to initiate a command. Is either you type using the command line or you search for the command from the appropriate tab and the palette, you select it, then you initiate. This time round, I don't want to just draw a line, but I want to draw a line of a specific length. So if you're not seeing the insertion point or the dynamic input closer to or coming along with the plus sign, it's a sign that your dynamic input is off. So if I click down here, the dynamic input, you realize that it goes off. I only have the plus, the cursor. So I click, it comes on. I click, it goes off. So take note of that. In case you can't see yours, just locate it. If you can't see it down here, come to the customization menu. Make sure dynamic input is selected. All right. So I want to go back. I need it. So I'm going to put it on. So I specify my first point, then I want to enter a line of length 100. But you realize that there's a problem. If I want to draw, let's say a horizontal line, and I don't take care, I might draw an inclined line. So there's an important feature or command in the status bar that helps you to draw lines that are orthogonal or the lines that are basically straight, horizontal and vertical. So to do that, you come to the status bar, then you see this symbol here is called the auto mode. So click on that. Once you click on that, you'll be able to draw lines that are horizontal and vertical, ones that are very straight. So from here, I can now enter the length of my line 100, press enter, press enter again, then I've drawn my line of length 100. So that is how you do it. Let's try and repeat it again. So to repeat the command, I right click, then I go to repeat line. I select my insertion point, and this time round, I want to make sure that the auto mode is off. So once the auto mode off, now you can see, you can play with the line. This time around, you can draw inclined lines. So I want to draw an inclined line at an angle of, let's say 12, but a length of 10 or 110. So if I want to switch, what I need to do is to press on the tab on the keyboard. So if I press tab on the keyboard, I switch to the angle and I want to draw relative to the starting point an inclined line at an angle of, let's say, 12. Then I switch back, then I enter my length of 110, press enter. Press enter again, then I've drawn an inclined line and is measuring my angle at 12 from the east. Remember from the unit settings we did. So basically these tools or these commands here kind of have a constraint on your drawing area. Once you begin to initiate a particular command, they begin to affect how it's being used. So we now know the dynamic input, we know the auto mode. Now let's look at a very important tool as well called the polar tracking. So before that, make sure you go to the customization menu, make sure that you have polar tracking checked. So once you have it checked, let's activate it here. So I click on the polar tracker. It's like a circle with two lines meeting at the center. So once I have the polar tracking, now let's go back to line again. Then let's see what happens. So I click on line, then I come. Then this time around, I see a green line tracking my line. So it's tracking my line. You see, when I make it horizontal, it tracks it. But when I incline it, the tracker disappears. This is to tell me that the tracking also track with respect to certain angles. So let's see what happens. So press escape on the keyboard. Let's come to the status bar, come to the polar tracker. You see a drop down arrow closer to the polar tracking. Click on that and let's see what happens. Once you click, you see that these are the angles that the polar tracker can track. It tracks lines in 90, 180, 270, and 360. It also tracks lines in 45, 90, 135, 80. It tracks 30, 60, 90. All right. So depending on your preference, depending on what you want to do. So currently I'll make sure it's checked on 90. All right. So I go to my line command, select, then it's tracking in 0, it's also tracking in 90, it's tracking 180, and what have you. Do you get it? So basically, the polar tracker tracks your line for you in a particular angle or degree that you want it. All right. So let's try and draw a box using the line command. So I enter a length of 100, press enter, come down, specify. This time around, you see the line is um, giving me relative to a particular angle, so I don't want that. So I make sure I select the word auto mode. So once I select auto mode, yes, I can get a straight vertical line. I enter 50, press enter, come to drag to the left, press 100 again, press enter, then go up, then right click. You know what to do, close. And we've drawn a rectangle this time around of specific length and height. So that's the line command. So down in the line command, we have other commands that we can use. We have the symmetrical line, we have the zigzag line. So you can have a try. Let's try the zigzag line. Let's see. So you see specify your first point. So I select, and then what it does is say specify the next point. Once I specify the next point, then you see the zigzag line. I press escape. Let me zoom in a little bit. So currently this is my zigzag line. So it's just for you to give it a try and play around it. Let's try the symmetric line or symmetrical line. So I select symmetrical line, and it says that select existing center line of first point. So before I can use the symmetrical line, I need to have a center line. Then I specify the first point. All right. So I'll press on escape. Then let's jump and take advantage of that and learn an important command here, which is the center line. So I click on the center line. What I do is that I want to draw a center line here. So this is my center line. Then I'll go back to the symmetrical line command. Then it says what? Select an existing center line. So I want to select this existing center line. All right. But you realize that I'm finding it difficult to select it. Why? Because there is something at the status bar that is constraining my drawing, and it's called the object snap. So let's take advantage of that and learn what the object snap does. So make sure you go to the customization, make sure you check object snap is checked. Let's see. Yeah, object snap is there. So once the 2D object snap is there and we have object snap tracking, they are good to go. So this is the symbol for the object snap. Click on that, and before we go back to our drawing area, let's click on the drop down arrow. Then these are the snaps that we can have in this object snap. We have the endpoint, midpoint, center, geometric node, quadrant, intersection, and all of them. So currently the ones that it can snap is the endpoint, the midpoint, the center, geometric center. Okay, so I'll show you all of these in subsequent videos to come. So I want to click on that. Let me go back. So it says specify what? Existing center line. So now because my object snap is on, is kind of snapping the ones that are checked. Remember we have the center point or the midpoint checked. We also have the endpoint checked. So click on the endpoint. Then it says specify the starting point of your line. So I want to draw a symmetrical line in the horizontal direction about that has this center line as reference. So let's see what happens. So I want to start somewhere above the center line. So I click and I specify I want to put my auto mode on because I want my line to be straight. Then I click, then voila. you realize that you see, press escape, and then goes off. So you saw the two symmetrical lines. So let's do it again. Go to symmetrical line, select existing. Now specify the first point of your line. Click here, maybe somewhere. I want to put my auto mode on. Then click here, press enter. Then I've drawn my symmetrical line about this axis. All right. So it's just up to you. So let's try a different orientation. Select the center line and let's draw a center line that is vertical. All right. Then let's go and select symmetric line. Then we select our existing point. Then let's try and create a symmetrical line here. So I click on that, press enter, and I've gotten a symmetrical line. So it's up to you for you to try your hands on it and then make sure you get to know how to use them. All right, so I want to clear all of this. You know what to do. I'm going to use the cross window selection. So I do that, select everything. Be careful so that you don't select your title block. Okay, so everything, right click, erase. All right, so this time around, let's go to the next command, which is the polyline. So the polyline is similar to the line command, just that it's slightly different. And let's see what happens. But before, let's draw a box with a line command. So I select the line command, I draw a box. Okay, auto mode is on, so you can see it's restricting me. Click, right click, I click on close. All right, then let's now draw a box again, but this time around using the polyline. So I select polyline, I do the same process, click, 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 and then close, and let's see the difference. So I bring my cursor and I hover it here. If I hover it here, you realize that this line glows. That means that this line is different from this line. It's slightly different. It's just that they are connected, but they are kind of separated. But if I come to the polyline I select, it considers the whole line that I drew as a complete line. So that's the difference with the polyline. The polyline gives you a complete line. The line command gives you more of like lines in different component. All right, so that's the difference. All right, so let's come to the circle command. And in the circle command, click down the drop down arrow. I see different types of things that I can use the circle command. So let's start with the center radius. So I select center radius. I specify center. I drag it a little bit, then I enter the radius, let's say 40. Press enter. Then I've drawn a circle of center radius 40. All right. Let's try another one. Center diameter. I select a point or look for a point, maybe somewhere here. Draw a circle of diameter 40, and this is it. So the difference is that this one has a radius of 40. This is diameter 40, so it means that the radius here is 20. That's why it's smaller. Let's try another one. Let's say 2 point circle. So for the 2 point circle, you need to identify 2 points. Maybe I want to use um, this point and maybe, okay, you realize I want to select this point, but I cannot. Why? Because the auto mode is on. So I want to put auto mode off so I can be playing with my line. So I want to select this point now. Click. Then I've drawn a 2 point circle. Okay. Then let's try the 3 points. So the 3 points I'm going to use, probably I'm going to use this point, and the last one will be this point. So that's a 3 point circle there, right? So just feel free and try your hands on them. Then we have the tan radius. So I need to select two tangent points and I enter the radius. So I want to draw a circle maybe between these 2 points. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, I want to use these two. So I select here, then I select here, then I enter the radius of, let's say, 15. Then it draws a circle that is tangent to this circle here and then this one. So that's for the tan radius, right? Then I select the tan. That means I have to get three circles, get tangent, three tangent points. So let's see what we can do. All right. So for that, I'm going to select one, two, and then three. And let's see what happens. It says what invalid 2 point, third point on the circle. So it didn't work, right? So let's try a different um, way to do that. So three. Okay, let me try this, and this. Okay, it worked. So I've drawn a circle that is tangent to this, that. All right. So basically, this is with respect to the circle command. All right. Let's finalize it with the arc, and then we are done in this video. So I click down the arrow which is beneath the arc. I have a lot of commands with respect to the arc. I have 3 points. I have all of them. So let's try the 3 points. Select 3 points. Select this. Select the midpoint, and I select maybe this point. Then I've drawn an arc using this point, the midpoint of this line, and then the third point, which is the vectors here. Let's try another one, the start, center, end. So I need to specify the center. Maybe this is the center and then this is the end. Oops, it's crossing our title block. But anyway, just wanted to show you the start, center, end. All right, we will erase it. So I want to, you know how to erase. You can either select it, right click, erase. So let's try the start, center, angle. So start, maybe this is the center, then the angle you want, maybe I want to enter maybe 45. So this is the 45 angle. All right, start, center, and the 45 angle. So it's just up to you. All right, you just have to be playing around all of them and you just be conversant with them. So on that note, we'll end here. Let's first of all erase everything, and I hope to see you in the next video where we'll look at more tools in AutoCAD Mechanical.